समिट का भारत में होना भारत के साथ ही पूरे ग्लोबल साउथ के लिए गर्व का विषय है।
Welcome to the AI Impact Summit 2026.
Tech leaders.
From France's President Emmanuel Macron to Brazil's President Lula da Silva to Google CEO Sundar Pichai to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, world and business leaders gathered in New Delhi this week as India's capital hosts AI Summit 2026. It's the first ever global AI summit hosted in the global south. Hello and welcome to Inside South Asia. I'm Samiksha Srivastava. Let's begin.
আইন অনুযায়ী সরকারের প্রধানমন্ত্রী
Tarique Rahman has been sworn in as a Prime Minister of Bangladesh, rising to power after massive student-led protest that toppled Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. BNP candidates swept the polls, capitalizing on public outrage and a fractured Awami League. Rahman takes office as 170 million Bangladeshis face fragile stability, soaring inflation and deep political scars, with high stakes for restoring order and rebuilding trust. While aiming for a diplomatic reset with India, Rahman faces pressing domestic priorities like security and national reconciliation. As he assumes power, the question looms, can he consolidate authority, restore order and steer the country through the transition? Our next report tracks Tarique Rahman's rise and the challenges that lie ahead.
Tarique Rahman সশস্ত্র চিত্রে
power, legacy and a long road back home. For years he was seen as the son of two dominant figures in Bangladesh's politics, and today he is the new Prime Minister of Bangladesh.
শপথ করিতেছি যে
Tarique Rahman has been sworn in as the PM, marking a major political transition in the country. He is also Bangladesh's first elected male Prime Minister in 35 years since Qazi Zafar Ahmad held the position in 1990. At 60, the leader of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party has taken charge, promising to improve governance and stabilize the country. He took the oath before President Mohammad Shahabuddin at the Jatiya Sangsad Bhavan, or the Bangladesh Parliament in Dhaka.
Tarique Rahman
I, Tarique Rahman, solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Prime Minister of the government in accordance with the law. I will bear true faith and allegiance to Bangladesh. I will preserve, protect and defend the Constitution. I will act towards all the people in accordance with the law, without fear or favor, affection or ill will.
পালন করিব।
The BNP and its allies registered a landslide victory with at least 212 seats in 299 contested seats for a 350-member parliament. 25 ministers and state ministers joined the oath-swearing ceremony, forming a cabinet ready to govern. One of the major highlights of the new cabinet is the representation from the minority Hindu community. Veteran BNP leader Nitai Roy Chaudhary joined the government. His inclusion is being viewed as a significant move by BNP's outreach for minorities. From 17 years in exile to the pinnacle of power, Rahman's journey has come full circle. Widely known as Tariq Zia, his political identity is linked to his family's history. He was 15 when his father, President Zia-ur Rahman, was assassinated in 1981. His mother, Khaleda Zia, a three-time Prime Minister, died in December last year at the age of 80, just days after his return to Dhaka. Tarique Rahman's return from the United Kingdom in December brought him to the centre stage of the political tensions of Dhaka. Now, two major challenges stand before the new Prime Minister. First, addressing the rise in political violence and attacks on minorities, and the second challenge is to stabilize relations with India. Rahman has indicated a desire to reset ties with New Delhi. In his first diplomatic move after victory, Rahman invited many South Asian leaders to his swearing-in ceremony. While Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi could not attend due to his tight schedule with the French President Emmanuel Macron in Mumbai, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla and India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri represented New Delhi and met the new Bangladeshi leader. Both sides expressed optimism about strengthening cooperation. India has also invited Rahman for an official visit. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi sent a congratulatory letter to Tarique Rahman, praising his resounding win and expressing hopes for stronger bilateral ties. In his first political outreach after the landslide, Rahman visited the chief of Jamaat-e-Islami, Shafiqur Rahman. For the Jamaat-e-Islami, this election is not a total loss. The party returned from a ban to secure 77 seats with its allies. The Islamist party, which once used to be an ally of the BNP in the early 2000s, has secured clear victories in the northern and western parts of Bangladesh, especially constituencies that border India. Eyes are also turning to former Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus and his place ahead. Is there a full retreat from view or some role in the framework? In a televised address, Yunus said Bangladesh's foreign policy during his 18-month tenure was anchored on three principles: sovereignty, national interest, and dignity.
Dear fellow citizens, after faithfully carrying out the responsibilities entrusted to me over the past 18 months, I stand before you today on the eve of handing over authority to an elected government to bid you farewell as the chief advisor of the interim government.
Alongside electoral results, Bangladesh has also voted on major constitutional reforms. More than 7.6 million votes were cast in a referendum linked to the July Charter, with over 68% voting in favour. The Charter calls for mandatory caretaker governments before elections, ensuring the independence of the judiciary and the Election Commission. It also proposes a new 100-member Senate elected through proportional representation and greater representation of women in the parliament. The BNP's return to power follows years of political turmoil. Those who queued at the polls deliver a plain call: peace, stability, and a government that functions. Rahman's path from prison to exile in London and back traces the course of the movement that brought him here. Can the nation heal under a new leadership?
The Himalayan nation of Nepal is set to go to polls on the 5th of March. It's first since the Gen Z uprising last September that toppled then Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli's government. With promises galore by many candidates in the fray, the upcoming election is yet another opportunity to address the issue of chronic unemployment, which drives Nepalese workers abroad and keeps Nepal's remittance-dependent economy afloat.
Is the impoverished nation of Nepal addicted to the trade in its own people? The steep mountain valleys have been emptied of its youth courtesy, a tradition that dates back to the late 19th century. Officially, about 7.5% of the population, around 2.5 million Nepalese, work abroad, with most of them toiling on the building sites of the Gulf and Saudi Arabia or in hotels and factories there, while others work in neighboring India and Malaysia. According to the World Bank, the money they send back represents more than a third of the country's GDP. But the flip side of this success story lies in yet another grim statistic. Between 2008 and 2025, some 14,843 Nepalese lost their lives abroad, with 1,544 casualties recorded last year alone. Last month, 43-year-old Rudra Bahadur Kami, after working for more than a decade in Saudi Arabia, returned to Nepal through a back door of Kathmandu airport in a battered coffin. But Rudra's fate, death at the end of a long road to feed his family back home, isn't uncommon. The gravity of the situation can be gauged by the fact that every day the bodies of at least 3 or 4 migrant workers are handed back to their families at the airport. The final transaction in a well-oiled system overseen by the state that helps keep Nepal's remittance-dependent economy afloat.
My father worked for the company for 10 to 12 years. The company should have arranged insurance papers and we should receive compensation. We do not know what the company will do. Our family situation is very poor and there should be some support for our home.
Given the chronic unemployment in the impoverished nation, people like 39-year-old Deepak Magar, a father of 4 children, have no option but to leave their family and the snow-capped Himalayas on the horizon behind in search of employment and happiness for his family.
I don't have much land and I must feed my family, pay for my children's education. I'm sad to leave again, but I have no choice. There is no work here.
The dire situation especially worsened during the 10 years of the Maoist insurgency that ended in 2006, when the trickle of migration transformed into a torrent.
During the time of insurgency in Nepal, we were not able to retain our youth in our villages. So they were coming into the urban areas, they were coming to the district headquarters in a large number to escape from both the parties, both the insurging parties and the state. So they had this refuge in foreign employment.
As Nepal's agriculture and tourism industries stagnated over the last decade, the scale of the exodus has become industrial. Today, almost half of the Nepali households receive remittances, giving rise to the accusation by various migrant worker groups that the government has become addicted to the money earned abroad to keep the economy going. Which begs the question, what will it take to reverse Nepal's dependence on money transfers from abroad? And will this long-standing issue resonate with the electorate in the upcoming polls?
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
A new social trend is emerging among Pakistan's young generation, especially Gen Z. Parties without alcohol or drugs are offering a fresh way to celebrate and even enjoy time with friends. Held in sports clubs, coffee shops and controlled spaces, these sober raves reflect a cultural shift. It allows young people to connect, dance and socialize while staying true to Islamic norms in a country where drinking remains illegal for Muslims.
No alcohol, no drugs, just a party without the poor. In Karachi, a city of nearly 19 million, a sober party wave is growing across sports clubs, coffee shops and art spaces. Under the neon lights of an indoor sports club, young people in their 20s move between glowing courts and a DJ booth. They dance with coffee cups and iced tea in hand as events run under strict no alcohol, no drug rule.
I really like this event and I hope people become more aware and start having these events for the coming generation.
The music pulses through the room and then, as if on cue, stops precisely at 10 p.m. These gatherings are part of a global trend as young people seek healthier ways to connect, celebrate and be seen. Here the shift carries an added layer of meaning. Alcohol is illegal for Muslims who make up the vast majority of the country. Choosing a night out without it is being seen as both a practical and a cultural choice. Traditionally, Pakistani parties operated underground with hidden alcoholic drinks and the constant risk of running afoul of authorities. But here the scene is different.
At least in Karachi, we don't have much spaces like there to spend our time to socialize with my friends. So I bring my old friends here to enjoy the party like this. You know, we used to party in basement or no such vibes like here. We are staying paddle people, we are connecting, we are building networking as well.
To give guests a sense of safety, organizers are leaving no stone unturned. Cameras mounted on walls and drones monitor the crowd, ensuring rules are followed in every corner of the club.
Our job, as club owners, as people who organize these things, is just to create a safe space. Because there's a security element attached as well. We are an indoor, high security, fully CCTV kind of space. There's very good parking outside. So it's a whole space environment that we've created that allows people to come and enjoy and actually have sober parties.
Events like these are popping up across Pakistan. According to Euromonitor data, Pakistan's soft drink market grew by more than 27% between 2020 and 2025. While hot drinks, including coffee, saw similar growth. Sociologist Kausar Praveen says that this movement shows how young Pakistanis are putting a modern spin on Islamic norms.
They are not going beyond the Islam, and they are following halal things, no sex, no alcohol. It means they are following all the norms of Islam. They are reframing. Actually, they are striving to reframe the Islamic norms by their own practices, and they don't want to have a stigma of non-Islamic practices. That's why they are striving to make it lawful according to Islam.
Most events end early, reinforcing the idea of structured social entertainment rather than late-night party culture. Tickets for these events usually range between 3,000 and 7,000 Pakistani rupees. In a country where entry-level monthly salaries often range from 30,000 to 40,000 Pakistani rupees, attending regularly can be expensive. But these sober raves are becoming a visible and significant outlet for the Gen Zs.
And now we bring you another interesting story from Pakistan. Unlicensed medical practices are quietly spreading far and wide across a South Asian nation. For countless folks, they are a vital lifeline where real healthcare feels out of reach. Tucked into a small, often unnamed shops in villages and towns, these so-called clinics are run by people without any formal medical training. In areas far from hospitals, they've simply become part of everyday life. As distance, poverty and doctor shortages keep shaping access to care, Pakistan grapples with fake doctors everywhere you look.
In a quiet village in Pakistan's Sindh province, a small roadside shop stands amid dusty paths and humble homes. To the passerby, it might seem like any other local store. But inside, wooden tables double as hospital beds. Rusted nails hold used infusion tubes, and a few chairs are arranged for patients waiting to be seen. Meet Abdul Wahid, a 48-year-old with a diploma in homeopathy and a 4-year nursing course. He spends his days at a hospital in Hyderabad in Sindh province. In the evenings, Wahid returns to his clinic located in the village of Tando Said Khan to attend to the patients. He charges just 300 Pakistani rupee or just above $1 per consultation. There is no signboard, no registration and no legal authorization to call himself a doctor.
I have spent so much time in this field. Thanks to God, I have confidence in me. I have spent 10 to 12 years in this field. I have worked with several doctors. I have done nursing courses. Thanks to God, I have confidence to diagnose a patient and treat the disease.
Traditionally, such clinics have filled gaps for poor rural communities in Sindh. Formal hospitals are hours away, reachable only by long rutted roads. Outside the clinic, dozens of patients line up every day, some with their children in their arms, others helping the elderly relatives come seeking treatment. After examining children or elderly villagers, Wahid insists that his patients come to him willingly. He says they are drawn by results in proximity, by a combination of skill and reliability. Outside the shop, Ali Ahmad, a villager, points to several similar clinics in the area. He shows just how common these unlicensed practices have become.
None of them have qualified doctors. People aren't educated and can't recognize qualified doctors.
Across Pakistan, Wahid is one of the many providers operating without formal registration. Abdul Ghafoor Shoro, Secretary General of the Pakistan Medical Association, estimates there are hundreds of thousands of such practitioners nationwide. He says many learn their trade working alongside licensed physicians, picking up fragments of knowledge before opening their own clinics. Sharo terms this practice as a public health epidemic.
The instruments they use are not sterilized. They simply wash them with water and continue using them. They reuse syringes, which increases the spread of hepatitis and AIDS.
Pakistan stands at 130th position out of 195 countries in the Global Health Security Index 2021. With a score of 35.5 over 100, below the global average, Pakistan's healthcare system faces significant challenges. Medical experts note that this pattern can have varied impacts on the real healthcare system. Hospitals like Civil Hospital Karachi sometimes receive patients who have been referred or treated elsewhere, sometimes after complications. Families left with crippling bills struggle to pay when treatments fail. Regulatory authorities have taken steps to address the issue. The Sindh Healthcare Commission recently sealed an unregistered Karachi hospital citing public health safety risks. Officials also warn of security threats faced by inspection teams trying to curb such practices. Back in Tando Saeed Khan, Wahid believes his patients come to him for results and not certificates.
So far, no one has come to me. I haven't had much time yet. It's possible that someone may come later. That's why I have applied for registration. Then there won't be any problem. If it's from the government side, then there will be no issue. If someone comes, I will see what to do.
But in reality, such unqualified practices put vulnerable people at risk. The question is, how soon can Pakistani authorities fix the healthcare system of the country?
The 76th edition of the annual Berlin International Film Festival is taking place from the 12th to 22nd of February in Berlin, Germany. In a seminal moment for Afghan cinema, the prestigious festival opened with the German-Afghan film No Good Men, co-written and directed by Afghan filmmaker Shahrbanu Sadat, who also plays the role of the main protagonist. Our next report brings you the details.
Think of Afghanistan, and what comes to mind? A nation ravaged by decades of war, the oppression of women under the ruling Taliban regime, even sporadic brilliance exhibited by its cricket team. But cinema sounds a little far-fetched. On the 12th of February, despite all odds, in a moment of pride and joy for Afghan cinema, the prestigious Berlin International Film Festival opened with No Good Men. The film has been co-written and directed by the Afghan filmmaker Shahrbanu Sadat, who has been based in Germany since the fall of Kabul in August 2021. An ecstatic, Shahrbanu considers the selection